Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Christy Wing. I am a Boston-based fitness instructor, mostly teaching Pilates both privately and group classes. And today's video is all about how I became a full-time fitness instructor and how you can too. So my advice on it and my story as well. So to give you a little bit of background, I have been teaching full-time since February, March of 2017. And I've been teaching part-time since fall or spring of 2013. I always get confused. So full-time for about 2 years and part-time for about 6 years. So it's been quite a while. I have been in this industry for a little bit. I started off teaching very, not a lot, like once a week, if even, for the first 2 or 3 years. But I was doing a ton of work and research, I guess, because I was taking classes religiously. I was at a studio 3, 4, 5 times a week, learning how to teach, learning how to interact with that studio, just being present there and really learning how to be a good student. So I think a big part of teaching is understanding the student experience and having had been there. You never want to teach and not have taken classes at a studio. Like, that really doesn't make any sense. Just because your whole goal as a teacher is to inspire and is to help your students and give them the best possible experience from start to finish. So you want to remember their names, you want to help them find the preps they need to, figure out if they're new, if they have any injuries, and all of those things you would never know to do unless you were a student and you valued those things yourself. So when the teacher knew who I was and started to know more about my story, that was a big deal for me, and I felt very special and very cared for. And I think that's just kind of a way for you to become a better teacher, and the best foundation is really just be a student for a long time, really dive into that work and love it. So Pilates, unlike other fitness instructor, I guess, trainings, like even like a personal training instructor or a boot camp style instructor, it has a very long, comprehensive training process. Usually most programs are at least 6 months, if not a year, if you want to be comprehensively trained. So that means like all of this behind me, all of that equipment, all of that stuff takes a very long time to get trained in. So I knew that. I learned that pretty early on because I was at a pretty strict classical style Pilates studio that offered reformer, mat, and privates. So I started getting trained. I did my first training probably while I was still in college. So I started college in 2012. Probably like 2013 or 2014, I did a bar training, and then I did a mat Pilates training. So I did both of those while I was still in college. And then my senior year of college, which would have been fall of 2015, I started a comprehensive program. So that was all with the same studio. Again, the same studio that I was religiously going to, and it had moved further away from where I was going to college, so I had to travel quite a bit to get there. It was like an hour on the T, which is the metro system here, but I would go. It was 5 to 6 weekends and a ton of observation hours in between, and I have some of my best memories with some of the friends that I made through that training there, and I learned a lot. There was definitely some good things, some bad things, and I won't get into those necessarily, but I would definitely recommend that if you can do a comprehensive training, deep dive into the work and how you want to educate people and how you want to help people with fitness. So I learned basically how to use all of the equipment, including the mat, the reformer, the tower, the chairs, everything you can imagine. And it was a great learning experience, and I started teaching while I was in that training. So I started teaching basic mat and basic reformer classes while I was there. So that probably started January of 2016, the semester that I was going to graduate college from, and I started teaching 5, 6, 7 classes a week while I was still in college. So that definitely helped me gain my experience. That's when I was really, I'd say, really working at a studio. And then after that, I started a job in advertising. I graduated college and I started a job, and the job was good. I don't think it was the right fit for me, and I think they knew too, to be honest. I don't know how else to put that. They were all really kind people, and it was a great company. It just wasn't the right fit for me. I wasn't gelling with the team. I wasn't producing the work that I feel like I should have been, and I felt personally a little bit ashamed of that. But yeah, so I decided to leave that company in that February-March range of that year. So about 9 months in, I kind of gave it that shot, and it didn't really work out. So I started working at the studio that I was teaching part-time at the whole time, full-time. So while I was working and while I was in college, I was still teaching those 5 to 6 classes a week. So it was like a 6 a.m. in the mornings. I think I did Monday evenings, Wednesday mornings, and then like Friday mornings and all day Saturday. That was like the time slots I was doing. So I started managing the studio after that, as well as teaching, and that was a big learning lesson in how to be a teacher, how to understand the business side of the studios. I think I was really naive about that, and how you make money, and just how you are a customer experience. Like, how can you create that customer experience? It really is all about that. It's all about service. It's very much like the hotel or the restaurant industry where you just have to give, and it is very, very draining. So I think I learned a lot about how to keep to myself, how to protect my emotional well-being in that first year. So I was there for about a year. I got married that year as well, and then I left to work at Equinox, teaching private Pilates there, as well as a couple of other studios. So I was kind of bopping around the city at that point when I left that studio management position. And I was at Equinox for about a year. This makes me sound really flaky. And then after that, I opened up my own studio here, and I also work at another studio in another neighborhood while also teaching group classes still, so I still do teach at Equinox. So that's kind of my story in a little nutshell. Hopefully that isn't too long. This video is already getting a little bit long. But I've included some tidbits of advice. I'd say my first piece of advice is know what you want to concentrate on and find a niche. Like, find something that you know you love, you know you are passionate about, and you want to give and share with people. Like, your love for that fitness modality is what is going to show through and make you a great teacher. So fitness, it could be spin, it could be running, it could be cycling, it could be boot camp, it could be boxing, it could be Pilates, yoga, you know, whatever it may be. It could be trampoline, bounce classes. Like, it literally could be whatever you love, whatever's changed your body, whatever you've had a personal, deep experience with, go for that, and find a good training. Like, don't skimp out on the test, the ACE personal training exam, like whatever exam, and not discounting that at all, but I'm saying, like, deep dive, find a mentor, find someone who can really show you the ins and outs of the industry and teach you about anatomy, teach you about these foundational things that a lot of instructors really don't have. So that's step one, get started. Step two, once you become an instructor, work at a studio where you have a mentor or where you have someone you look up to, you want to be like them, you love their teaching style, because early on you are going to feed off that energy and you are going to kind of imitate everyone around you. So you just want to make sure that people around you are people you want to be like. They're not people that are super catty or are very picky and mean to the students or kind of talk about them behind their back. You want to make sure that studio has the vibe that you feel like you reflect as well. Like, the studio and you should be on the same page and aligned. My third piece of advice would be around emotional well-being. I mentioned this before. As an instructor, in like any teacher in any educational business, it's hard. You have to give a lot of yourself. You have to give your advice. You have to teach them. You have to touch them. You have to, help them through whatever they're going through. You have to be a listening ear, and that's hard. Honestly, if you're not doing well, if you don't have the reserve for it, if you're really tired and burnt out and basically falling asleep at the wheel, which has happened to me many times before. I used to teach like 8 to 10 classes a day, which was a lot. So I scaled back because I knew I couldn't give the fullest experience. I scaled back because I knew there was other ways where I could make more money per hour, and you learn that too. So I'd say set up boundaries and respect them. Set up me time, set up time for you to work out, set up time where you can get lessons from people, and just make that a priority. Make you a priority, and make the people that are in your life, your friends, your family, your partner, whoever it is, a priority as well. And make sure you sleep. That is the biggest thing. I early on would sleep 5 to 6 hours a night. Literally not a lot at all. I would wake up at 4 in the morning. Yes, 4 in the morning. And I would wake up and get ready to go to teach at Equinox for my 6 a.m. It was early, and I would go to bed at 10:30, which was not enough time, sometimes 11. So prioritize your sleep. If you can't work 6 a.m.s, fine, work 7 a.m.s and go to bed at 9:30. So that's just my advice here. Really prioritize your sleep and yourself. Number 4, I think not everyone is cut out to be an instructor. And I think that the instructor world has gotten very, very saturated because people who aren't meant to be instructors become them, and people who don't have the education to be instructors say that they are. So I'd say figure out if you like it first and make sure that it's something you actually want to do. If you want to be a fitness model, that is not being a fitness instructor, that's something else, and that I bless you in that. Go do that. If you want to be a I don't know, a fitness writer, a fitness contributor, a fitness blogger, do that as well. Just don't say you're an instructor. If you're an instructor, make sure you get your education. That is all I have to say there. Educate yourself and constantly be learning, constantly be humble and learn from other modalities. Just because I'm a Pilates instructor doesn't mean that I don't respect weightlifting, yoga, whatever else it may be, running, right? So I want you to do the same. That is how you become a good instructor. That is how you become successful. And lastly, think outside the box. Like, once you're an instructor, there is a very set path that you can follow to make more money, to make more clients, blah, blah, blah. So, option one, you are an instructor. You love everyone at that studio. You become the studio manager. And then one day, you open your own studio. That's like option one, right? Option two, you're an instructor. You're very popular. You're like a celebrity instructor almost. You start training celebrities. You start getting a big following. People love your classes. Maybe you make your own class. Then, you brand it and you start selling it online and you start teaching online and, or you become a Peloton instructor or someone else in that digital space, right? So that's option two. It's kind of the digital version and then the brick and mortar version. And there's really no in between. So if you have an idea, if you have another background outside of just fitness, there aren't a lot of fitness people who are really innovating. They aren't pushing the envelope and trying to change things up. So if you're one of those people and you have a great idea of how to bring technology and fitness together or how to bring community and fitness together in a new way, do it. And I say, seriously, go do that because fitness needs innovation right now. I think that it is an industry that is so saturated that we need to differentiate more, we need to innovate more and make things new. So if you have those ideas and you can think outside the box and have that mindset, I totally say go for it. My last piece of advice for transitioning from a full-time job to fitness, if that's what you want to do and become a full-time fitness instructor, is side hustle for a while. And I did that for about 9 months. And I learned what I wanted to do, what I liked, what I didn't like, what I needed for myself. I think having a background outside of just fitness makes you a smarter and better instructor, someone who's more relatable, and just someone who can manage their own business sense a little bit better because they were out in the real world, which I hate saying that because this is the real world too, right? But yeah, that's my advice, I think. Like, just roll with the punches, see where it takes you, see if you gain traction, and if you're starting to gain traction and you're still side hustling, maybe that's when it's time for you to really let go of that corporate career and move into fitness. And if you aren't getting traction, then you're safe. You can pull away from fitness and just stick to your corporate job and continue moving up that ladder, continue to find other ways to create a passion for yourself and make a difference in this world. So anyways, that's my advice. That's my story. Hopefully I didn't talk too fast. Everyone says I do. I'm from New York, so that's why I talk like this. Let me know if you have any questions, other questions about how to get into fitness full time. I would love to answer them. I am an open book. You can follow me on Instagram. I'm at FitWithChristy. That's right here. I am very responsive on DMs, or you can just email me, which is christy.pilates@gmail.com. So yeah, see you guys later. Thanks for watching.